If you grew up watching Crayon Shin-chan, you know Hiroshi Nohara as the ultimate gag character. He's the perpetually exhausted salaryman, defined by a heavy 5 o'clock shadow and feet so lethally smelly they double as a biological weapon. At home, he sits squarely at the bottom of the family hierarchy. He gets bossed around by his wife, Misae, and survives on a pitiful allowance of just 30,000 yen a month to cover all his personal expenses. But if you scroll through Japanese media today, the narrative sounds completely alien. Articles and headlines consistently rank this exact same character as a high-status earner and the ultimate dream husband. How did a guy designed 30 years ago to be a pathetic punchline become the gold standard for modern adulthood? Hiroshi didn't go through a character arc. The economic reality of the audience watching him simply collapsed. When creator Yoshito Usui introduced Hiroshi in 1990, the goal was to write the most unexceptional, aggressively average Japanese adult male possible. In the early 1990s, corporate Japan ran on rigid expectations. You entered a company straight out of school, accepted a strict track for promotion, and stayed there for life in an environment defined by total conformity. Your time didn't belong to you after hours either. Salarymen were locked into a grueling culture of mandatory drinking parties with coworkers, making exhaustion a permanent state of being. During the Japanese bubble economy, this level of stability was the starting point for a functioning adult. Let's look at the hard demographics of that baseline. Hiroshi is 35 years old. He drives a family car and owns a spacious 4-room suburban house in the Tokyo area. Most importantly, he completely supports a wife, 2 children, and a dog on a single income. This bar chart plots Hiroshi's annual salary, roughly 6.5 million yen, against the modern Japanese average for a 35-year-old male. Today, a man in his demographic brings home closer to 5 million yen. That is a massive deficit for anyone trying to raise a family. To maintain anything close to the Nohara household standard of living today, a dual-income household is virtually mandatory for the working class. The stay-at-home spouse model is largely obsolete. Hiroshi never got a promotion that made him wealthy. Decades of wage stagnation and inflation simply turned his average 1990s life into an unattainable luxury. Hiroshi's actual value is rooted in how he manages his resources. He hands his entire 6.5 million yen salary directly to his wife, happily navigating his work week on a tiny allowance to hunt down the cheapest possible lunches. The evidence of his devotion is quietly scattered throughout the series. He was a heavy smoker, but the moment Misae became pregnant with their son, he dropped the habit instantly and permanently. When Misae spent days knitting a rather ugly scarf for a school bazaar and nobody bought it, Hiroshi secretly purchased it himself and then proudly wore it on his commute to protect her pride. In one famous episode, Misae accidentally loses an entire month's salary, 300,000 yen in cash. Instead of raging about the catastrophic loss, he hugs her and tells her that the money doesn't matter, as long as she and their son are safe. A 6.5 million yen salary might catch the attention of a modern audience, but his emotional stability and total lack of ego are what actually secure his status as a dream husband. The way adults view Hiroshi today is a dual fantasy. It's a deep mourning for a lost era of economic stability, combined with a desperate yearning for unwavering familial dedication. He lives a distinctly unglamorous life. He gets physically crushed against the glass of packed commuter trains every morning, only to spend his day navigating the thankless stress of middle management. Yet in one theatrical movie, when a villain taunts him for living a boring life, Hiroshi fires back. "My life is not boring at all. I want to share the happiness of having a family with you guys." That is the core of his heroism. It doesn't require superpowers, flawless looks, or extreme wealth. It requires pure, grinding consistency. He willingly accepts an exhausting daily sacrifice because he prioritizes his family's comfort entirely over his own desires. Hiroshi Nohara proves that the ultimate hero is just an ordinary man who shows up for his family every single day. And yes, even if his feet smell.